Aye, first and foremost, I want to give all the honors, the praises, the glory belongs to Yahweh by Sham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Wahava Kodash. Honors to the apostles that are in the Holy Spirit, and to the few brothers and sisters that are listening and learning in the hopes of being saved within these last days. Because you know we're living in the last days of the last days. And shalom to you brothers that are being more than conquerors through your house that loved us. Make sure you're moving wisely. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of demonic activity. But Yahushua gives us the strength to go through that. I want to get straight to it. This topic is a lot of people are going to get butthurt. They're going to get all in their feelings. But so what? The scripture says in Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go. Right? And when he is older, he will not depart from it. Now, when you read Matthew's, should we go to Matthew's 13? We go to Matthew's 13. You're going to get emotional. Just switch off. Don't watch, man. You got people, they can't stand you, but they want to watch you. Let's go to Matthew's 13. Just look the other way. Let's go to Matthew's 13. When you go into the sower, you know the parables of the sower, the tares, the wheat, and so forth. Now let's go to Matthew 24:4. The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in the field. Good seed would represent the wheat, the children of God. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. The tares are the wheat. Okay? And it says, but then the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit. Then appeared tares also. So hold on. While they were gathering, they noticed the wicked were there. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst thou not sow good seed in the field? From whence cometh they have tares? Tares and wheat, they look identical, right? But if only a farmer or someone that's really good with plants would recognize both. So the servants of the householder came and said unto the Sir, did thou not sow good seed in the field? From whence have it tares? All right, the good seed represents the children of God. He said unto them, an enemy have done this. The servant said unto him. So who's the enemy that done that? The devil. Will then we go up and gather them? So the angels were saying, should we not, gather them up, put it up? But he said, nay, lest while you gather up the tares, what are the tares? The wicked, you root up the wheat also with them. So we don't want the righteous to be destroyed with the wicked, do we? So it says, no, gather up the tares first. Okay. Let both grow together until the harvest. In the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather together first the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. So in other words, let them grow together. So what does this mean? That means in today's terms, guess what you have? You have the children of God and the children of the wicked together. That means you have the wicked around you. Yeah, you know that, right? A seed. And you have the seed of the righteous. Let both grow together unto the harvest. What's the harvest? The reaping. And in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, who are the reapers? The angels. Gather ye together the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them. In other words, that's going to be their judgment. But gather the wheat into my barn, which represents the elect. So this shows you have two type of people. Now, when you go to Matthew, I've already explained it, but when you go to verse 36, Yahushua expounds to the disciples. Let's go to verse 37. He answered and said unto them, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. But the tares are the children of the wicked one. You see? The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world. The reapers are the angels. Therefore the tares are gathered and burned in fire, and it shall be to the end of this world. So there you go, right there. To further expound. Now we've went into that. Let's go further in this. And the name of this lesson is going to be called, I couldn't really come up with a good lesson. Also, children are being, as you see, you're seeing possession with them as well. Not just adults. Yeah, this also can happen to children through covenants and passing down that Freemasonry stuff as well. It says you bring a curse upon, what's it? I think it's your third generation, right? You bring curses upon them. You know that, right? Now you have children, not all, but some, they're demonically possessed. Okay? So, and don't get offended. Don't start getting in your feelings. Okay? Ecclesiastes 40, and we're going to go to verse 5. Because, bro, you might notice something, right? And it's like, what the hell? What was that? You heard the child going, ah! Then the father closes the flipping door, ends up, like, pulls up in the car, closes the door, like, what was that about? Is that child all right? Right? That was some type of manifestation right there. All right? What's up? I hope that child ain't being tortured. But because you got people that do that, hide their children in, hiding children indoors, man, and they need deliverance, man. And you put in demons upon them because you're a demon. Okay, let's go to Ecclesiastes 40 and 5. The children of sinners are an abominable children, and they that are confident in the dwelling of the ungodly, confident. So they start taking on the traits of the ungodly. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. The children will complain of an ungodly father. Oh, that's not godly, that's not of God, because they shall be reproached for his sake. Woe be unto you, ungodly men, which have forsaken the law and most high God. For if you increase, it shall be to your destruction. If you be born, you shall be born to a curse. That Freemasonry stuff. Now you can break it, but that means you would have to be in. Yeah, how about show you have to be in the word to break all that stuff, because it does bring curses. That's why some of our lives have been so hard. But if you're doing that, that means you're breaking a generational curse off you. This way you get the witchcraft coming your way and people get angry because you've broken that. So now you're free. A lot of people, they're still in these covenants and they're still taking these private oaths and all that. And they pass it down and all that. They do it for fame, riches, for security and so forth. But there's curses that come with that. Bad luck and misfortune. Why do you think people are miserable? And it says, and if you die, a curse shall be upon your portion. All right. So we got that right there. See if there's anything else. Hold on just a minute. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So I hope this kind of, helps you out. Like, yeah, there's possession. But with possession, there needs to be a deliverance. If one ain't delivered, they're going to start manifesting. And spirits don't want to manifest. They want to stay hidden. Okay. But when you see manifestation, that's a sign of, I don't want to say deliverance, but it's a sign that you have a form of power, because their whole thing is not to manifest. Their whole thing is to stay hidden. Okay. Oh, yeah, let's let the child out at this time. Are you treating the child like an animal or something, like a cage? What are you doing? Locking it up in a cage, Baba Kishore? Hmm? What are you doing? Hmm? Anyways, Baba Kishore. All jokes aside, Baba Kishore. I'm still looking for this particular scripture. Um, I think it's in Ecclesiasticus somewhere. Bear me just a minute. Patience is a virtue. If I can't find it, I'll just type it in. Yeah, we type it in. We type it in. We type it in now. All right, see if we can get this on podcast. You're gonna have to bear me just a minute. But yeah, back to the topic. This can happen. I'm starting to think now. When I was a child, was I demonically possessed? I don't know. Probably was. Yeah, if you're not in the word, you are. If anybody's not in the word, you're under demonic possession. It's that simple. And there's different forms of it. Um, hold on just a minute. I'm thinking of Isaiah 54, or Isaiah 58. Under the trees. Let's go to the under every green tree. Every green tree. Then you have people that want to do certain stuff, right? And they want you to agree with what they're doing. It's basically narcissist. The narcissist is a criminal. Yeah, you call it spiritual criminal, whatever. They're a criminal. Mm? Well, we're not playing your game. We're not playing your game. We're out of your game. We're not in your court. This is Isaiah 57. All right. And we're gonna go to verse 3. Okay, let's go Isaiah 57 and 3. Bear me just a minute. Isaiah 57 and 3. Let's go. So we can expound on this. Oh, but it's a child. You can't say that. It's a Yeah, I know it's a child, but some take on wickedness. Okay. How dare you say that? Isaiah 57 and 3. But draw near hither, you sons of the sorcerers, and the seed of the adulterer, and the whore. Against whom do you sport yourselves? Okay. Sporting is like, it's a form of mischief. Sport yourself, like taunting. It's terrible how you listen. I'm not a father or nothing. If I was a father, I wouldn't have my child trying to taunt anyone or talk rubbish to it, especially a man of God. That's silly, don't you think? You ain't thinking right. You ain't thinking right. Isaiah 57. Against whom do you sport yourselves? I want to look up this word. Bear with me just a minute. Okay. Patience is a virtue. Sport yourselves. I want to know what that word means. Trying to taunt people in secret and thinking the Most High Yahweh don't see that. You taunting people for? Let's see if we can get this definition of sporting yourself. See what it actually means. Okay. Get a better definition. Oh, okay. It means ridicule. This is New King James Version. Who do you ridicule? Against whom do you make a wide mouth and stick out the tongue? Are you not the children of transgression, the offspring of a falsehood? Oh dear. Oh my gosh. That's why it's good to go into different definitions. Who do you ridicule? So you will have, not all, you have some of these children that will ridicule. Alright? A child shouldn't be doing that. No way. You're not in a position to do that. Against who do you make? But you have bad, you know, upbringing. People don't know how to bring up a child and they have them do something like that. Against who do you make a wide mouth? So that's a form of taunting, and stick out the tongue. Are you not children of the transgression of sin, offspring of a falsehood? So you know what this reminds me of? Who do you ridicule? Now I'm thinking about, I didn't even finish off this chapter, right? Ridicule. There was a chapter, we're going to get into it, of, was it Elisha or Elijah? And we're going to go into it. There was about, how much? We're going to go into it. This is heavy. Yeah, demonic possession is real. But with them children, you got to give them deliverance. That's why when I do these videos, I always say men, women, and children, because children need that deliverance as well. Some of them are oppressed and they don't even realize it until they get older. So Isaiah 57, all that trauma and abuse. Isaiah 57. Against who do you sport yourselves? Against who you make a wide mouth? So that means ridicule. Draw out the tongue. Are you not children of transgression? Stop right there. We're gonna go back to Isaiah, but I want to go into an account of Elijah when he was being mocked. The scriptures are raw, rugged and raw. Check this out. 2 Kings 2 and 23. Now, I believe this was it Elijah, right? We go into this. Let's get this. All right. This is 2 Kings, right? 2 and 23. Check this out. All right. So the waters were healed unto this day, according to saying of Elisha, which he spake, and he went up thence into Bethel. As he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city and mocked him. I want to stop right here, but there's more to the story than you can actually think. Okay, Let's see if we can find this. So these were young lads, basically. When it says children, they were of age, by the way. Mm. They were not as young as you think. So it says, out of the city, and mocked him and said unto him, go up, bald head, bald head. So they were mocking his bald head. And when you have a bald head, you would only shave it if you were mourning for someone. So you had these little, I believe they were a bit older. They're about 12, 13. These were young. They say they're young men. But you know there's trouble. See, you got to read the scriptures. Hold on. Why would you have a group of young men gathered up a group? Anytime you see that there's a problem, some evil's going on. And mocked him and said unto him, go up, bald head, bald head. And he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of the Lord Jehovah. And they came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood and tear 40 and 2 children of them. 2 she-bears. And you know how big a bear is, right? A bear can mash you from limb to limb. 2 she-bears. And he went from thence to Mount Carmel and thence he turned. So these, you had little brats that were trying to curse, well, Elijah. Was it Elijah or Elisha? It was Elijah. And he turned back and he cursed him. Now, a lot of people say, well, don't you think that's a bit... He cursed them because they had some type of agenda. That's why he done that. Because they were mocking him. All right. And they were in the city. Then what? 2 she-bears come out. You know? 2 she and tore them up. I mean, you gotta be careful how you're treading and what you're doing. But if you're carnal, you ain't even gonna think twice. Now let's go back to I wasn't looking for this. Let's go to First Chronicles 16:22, saying, touch not mine anointed, do my prophets no harm. Are you thinking before you even do something? A lot of you're not even thinking. So we've got that. Go back to Isaiah. 2 she-bears. Mm. And you think that story wasn't told. That's the reason why this is in the scriptures, because it's a story that was told and passed on. So we're back on Isaiah 57. Who do you sport yourselves? Who do you ridicule? Inflaming yourselves with idols under every green tree. We've been to the woods. I've showed you what they do in the woods with the altars and all that. Okay. Slaying the children in the valleys. This was an ancient custom. What was the name of the idol? It was Baphomet and the other one. I forgot the name. Malak. Under the cliffs of the rocks, among the smooth stones of the stream is thy portion. Just another form of idolatry. Excuse me, they are thy lot, even to them that pour it, drink offering, idolatry, that has offered a meat offering, should I receive comfort in these. Upon a lofty and high mountain. Today, the high and lofty mountains would be these big cities and so forth. Okay. And the actual mountain in the woods that has set thy bed thither went up to sacrifice. Behind the doors and the posts has set up thy remembrance. But thou hast discovered thyself to another more than me. Idolatry. Thou hast gone up, thou hast enlarged thy bed, and made thee a covenant with them. This all goes back to covenants. That's why they do this type of stuff. Because they want to appease their master, which is Satan, Beelzebub. They love us their beds and their cities. So that's the premise of the lesson. That is the premise. You should be raising up a child in the scriptures, man. When he's older, he's not going to depart from it because it's going to be embedded in that child. They're not going to be an evil, mischievous imp. Okay? I hope this was edifying. Until the next time. Shalom. Shalom.